It is 6:30, January 9th, 2025. The Board of Police Commission meeting is called to order. We're going to ask Reverend Warfield to open us up in invocation.
Let us pray. Most holy and righteous Father, we come before your presence this evening, thanking you for your grace and your mercy that has gotten us to this portion of our day. As we come here in this meeting, this community meeting, to talk about public safety needs and concerns, we ask that you would grace us with the power of your Holy Spirit. We ask that you would form our minds and our hearts to receive that which you need us to do on your agenda. Now, Lord, bless all of those here in attendance, those who are watching, and those who are on their way. In Christ's name I pray, amen.
Amen. And I think I made a blunder because I seen that we had Chaplain Wilson James on there. And so, Chaplain Wilson James, please forgive me, and we can have you on next week if we could. Please call the roll.
Chairman Woods.
Present.
Vice Chair Smith. Present. Commissioner Bernard.
Attorney Linda Bernard, proudly representing District 2. Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year.
Commissioner Banks.
Present.
Commissioner Bell is excused. Commissioner Burton. Commissioner Carter. Here. Commissioner Moore.
Present.
Commissioner Hernandez. Commissioner Presley. Commissioner DeWalsh. Present. 7 present, sir.
Thank you kindly. We have a quorum. Entertain a motion for the approval of the 2025 agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to move items 7 and 8 to behind your report.
If there's no objection, a motion to amend and for approval.
For approval, and also to remove the name Steve Radden from the agenda under number 4A.
Okay. Motion made to amend the agenda to amend it to bring 7 and 8, and then it's supported, and to remove Steve Radden off the for the resolution, and it's supported by Commissioner DeWalsh. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion is carried. Entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes for December 19, 2024.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Bernard.
Or
Supported by Commissioner Moore. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion is carried. Introduction of BOPC staff and chief of police and elected officials and representatives.
Through the chair, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Mr. Wood.
No, the secretary is introducing everyone.
Board of Police Commissioner staff present are Attorney Dante Goss, Chief Investigator Jerome Warfield, Robert Brown, Mary Barber, Teresa Blossom, Candace Hayes, Armesia Joshua, Drew Freeze, Felicia Tyson, Jasmine Taylor, Deputy Chief Jacqueline Pritchett for Chief of Police, Supervising Investigator OCI Ainsley Cromwell. And thus far, we have Ms. Phrygia Butler present. I'm not aware of, haven't received any other names. I see former Commissioner Davis as well.
Absolutely. Thank you. And that's Ms. Frida Butler.
I'm sorry. I am so sorry.
Absolutely. And so let's go to, what was numbers? So we move 7 and 8. Okay, there's 7, 8. Okay, all right. My report is that we will be moving expeditiously with the search, and Commissioner Hernandez is here right now, and he can give us an update that we are in the final stages of that, and let the record reflect that Commissioner Hernandez is present, But if you can brief the community where we at on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Through the chair, this is in reference to the Chief of Police, correct?
Yes.
So thank you, everyone, obviously, for being here. We have a timeline that we set in place that started a few months ago with the announcement and departure of former Chief of Police James White. That timeline, in partnership with one of our preferred vendors, or I should say firms, search firms for the city of Detroit, is supporting us not only in doing a local thorough search, but also a national search as well. They've been behind the scenes interviewing a series of candidates. Their obligation to us is to provide a list of 25 names along with 5 recommended candidates for this body to interview. So as part of next steps, that posting is going to close at the conclusion of this following week. At that time, we'll set up those 5 interviews in person at a date and time to be determined, but it will be available and open to the public because we absolutely want you to be a part of that. And at that time, during that meeting, we'll ultimately come up with 3 candidates that we'll provide over, based on our charter mandated obligation, to send them to the mayor. So that process is going to conclude within the month of January, so that we can send over those names either by the last week of January or by the 1st of February.
All right, thank you very kindly. And as relates to, I know we have some very, very, very special people here today, and I'll need to see when do we acknowledge them. Ms. Blossom, do we acknowledge them under right now? I don't know where we at on the agenda. It's kind of confusing to me. Yes, right, absolutely. Today's agenda includes a special recognition for the 2020-24 Youth Advisory Panel that just wrapped up its work. The board created the Youth Advisory Panel in 2022. These young Detroiters have provided feedback on draft policies, attended the reported out at our meetings, and has been active community in community events like the Peaceniks. They also participated in our 50th anniversary at Citadel of Praise, hosted the first Detroit Youth Talk Safety Summer Forum, and partnered with the Detroit Public Library on key youth events. They have had a great year in 2024, and we want to show a small part of our appreciation with certificates. 2025 will be even better with 5 new members joining us and getting to work immediately on the youth forum with Chief Bettison and 2 other top police chiefs set for Saturday, March 15th at Wayne Law. And that information will be provided, and we ask all of the members of the public to support these young people. Commissioners, you have a copy of the November memo that gave all of the names of the 2025 panel. I just want to announce the new members and ask them to stand if they are here. And that'll be Herbert Anderson. Is Herbert Anderson here? Come on, give Herbert a round of applause. And Ashley Jennings, come on now. Renee Nails. Is Renee Nails here? Allure Williams, and Jeremiah Williams. All right, all right. Okay, thank you for joining YEP. Let's welcome them with a round of applause again. Our police commissioners and staff are excited to have you and to support you in your participation with the board, YAP, and the community. Come on, give them some more love. So those were the prepared statements that they gave me, but I want to say that I absolutely, absolutely appreciate you young people. We do appreciate you guys stepping up, and we thank you for your strong leadership, and we thank you for being a blessing in your community. and we look forward to hearing great things about you guys. And if we can support you in any kind of way, don't hesitate to let us know. Our information is back there on that table. You give us a call, and we have your back 1,000%. So thank you, and God bless you all. Yes.
I just want to say to you and to your new colleagues as in terms of this advisory board, don't forget that when you turn 18, you can become a member of the Detroit Police Department. We have both officer positions as well as civilian positions. And guess what? We pay really, really well, one of the highest payers in the country. So therefore, with a high school diploma and no felonies and things like that, you can come and help law enforcement and keep order in your community. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, all right. All right. Again, thank you. Ms. Blossman, do I supposed to do anything else? It's hard for me to understand and decipher it. That's why come help me. Yeah. I'm trying to understand it. It's kind of, small for me right now. Well, I'm talking about, I know we're going to get there. I'm trying to force with these young people. Okay, thank you. All right, thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Davis. You have your glasses on? It's kind of small. Make it larger for me next time, please. So the number 7 is the unfinished business. Is that right? Kind of convoluted. All right. What is the pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn item number 7 until next week.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Moore and second by Commissioner Bernard to adjourn item number 7 to next week. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion is carried. All right, let's go to what is the pleasure for new business?
No
That
new
number
business?
8. Motion to adopt. I entertain a motion to adopt the BOPC / OCI Department Vehicle Policy.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner DeWalsh. Anyone supports it?
Mr. Chairman, I'd simply like to point out that the policy was thoroughly reviewed in the policy committee meeting. Both myself and Commissioner DeWash participated, as well as our board
So
secretary.
you second the motion?
Absolutely. And that it's a very good policy.
All right, a motion made and second by Commissioner Bernard. Any discussion?
Through the
All in
chair.
fa- Yes, sir.
I just want to acknowledge all the work that went into it, so I appreciate Commissioner Bernard and everyone who was involved. I think it's noteworthy to state.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I'm very, very pleased in terms of what we're seeing out of the policy committee as a whole, and you guys are rocking there, and we're going to see a lot of great things happen in 2025 out of the committee.
We rock and roll.
Absolutely, for sure, absolutely. We're acknowledging that. Amen.
Okay.
And so anyone so the motion is carried, and we are moving on. All right, let's go to the Chief of Police report.
Good evening, everyone. It's on me, correct? And Happy New Year to those I haven't seen
Happy
this
New
year.
Year.
So thankfully, currently there are no department members who are disabled due to an on-duty injury. So the crime data as of 1/8/2025, currently we are 4 incidents down in homicide.
Can you talk directly into the mic because
thought I
the
was. Okay.
interpreter's trying to pick up?
Okay.
It's the bass on the mic that's causing the problem.
Well, they text in. Okay.
Switch mics, is that better? Okay, so currently there are no department members who are disabled due to an on-duty injury. The crime data as of 1/8/2025, homicides, we're 4 incidents down from last year. Our non-fatal shootings are tied at 14. Currently, we're down 5 robberies from the same time last year. and we are down 20 incidents for our total Part 1 violent crime, and our carjackings are tied at 3. The mental health calls for service year-to-date, there have been 101 calls for mentals not violent. There's been 34 calls for mental violence that were armed, 119 calls for mental violent not armed, and there have been 29 calls year-to-date for suicide in progress, 75 calls for suicide threats. So a total of mental health calls year-to-date has been 358. Significant events that occurred thus far for the week, for this reporting period. The first one was a fatal accident of an off-duty Detroit police officer. On Sunday, January 5th, at 1:21 a.m., officers were dispatched to the 11,000 block of Griner to investigate an accident that had just occurred. Once they arrived, they observed a 2000 Jeep was turned over in the northbound lane of Hoover. Officers discovered that the victim was an off-duty police officer. Medics conveyed the victim to a local hospital where he was pronounced deceased on arrival. Officers from Number 9 preserved the scene, and fatal squad was notified. Detectives arrived at the scene and were able to determine that the driver of the white van struck the officer's vehicle, causing the accident. The suspect then fled the scene. Detectives were able to identify a suspect, and on January 6th, the suspect was arrested by Detroit police. Detectives from the fatal squad unit submitted a warrant to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office for review. The second incident occurred on Wednesday, January 1st at 12:55 a.m. Officers were dispatched to the 7300 block of Woodrow Wilson to investigate shots fired, which was upgraded to a confirmed person shot at the location. Officers made the scene and discovered that medics transported the victim to a local hospital. A follow-up revealed the victim was deceased on arrival. Officers from the 10th Precinct preserved the scene and notified detectives from homicide. Detectives determined that the victim and the suspect had an argument before the suspect shot the victim. Detectives identified the suspect, and on January 4th, the suspect was arrested by Detroit police without incident. On January 6th, detectives submitted a warrant to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office for review. The warrant was approved, and the suspect was arraigned on the following charges: second-degree murder, firearm possession by a prohibited person, 2 counts of felony firearm, and habitual fourth. The suspect is currently in Wayne County Jail held without bond. The third incident occurred on Saturday, January 4th at 4:07 p.m. in the 15,000 block of Carlisle in the 9th Precinct. Officers arrived on scene and observed the victim suffering from a gunshot wound to the head. Medics arrived and pronounced the victim deceased on scene. Officers responded to the scene, and detectives from the homicide section were notified. Detectives determined that the victim was arguing with 2 unknown black males who were attempting to take a bag away from him before he was shot. The suspects left the location in a gray sedan. This incident is still under investigation. Detectives are asking anyone with information regarding this incident to contact Crime Stoppers at 1-800-SPEAK-UP or DetroitRewards.tv. The fourth incident was a carjacking that occurred on Sunday, January 5th at 8:36 p.m. Officers were dispatched to the 5500 block of Dickerson in the 5th Precinct. They arrived at scene and talked to the victim, who stated he was exiting his vehicle, a 2019 Nissan, when suspect arrived with a handgun. He took the victim's vehicle, cell phone, and drove the victim's vehicle south on Dickerson. Officers preserved the scene and notified Commercial Auto Theft Unit, which we call CAT. Detectives determined the suspect was a very young black male with a thin build and no facial hair. On January 5th, detectives from CAT located the vehicle in the 14,000 block of Elmdale, also the 9th Precinct. Surveillance was conducted, and the vehicle was observed being driven by a black male matching the suspect's description. Detroit police stopped the vehicle and arrested the driver, a 16-year-old male. On January 6th, detectives submitted a warrant to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office. This warrant is still currently under review. So some positive notes. On yesterday, we had 2 coffee and cakes, one for Sergeant Ramon Childs of Real Time Crime Center. He retired after serving the department for 35 years. And the second one was Sergeant Alan Quinn, of Graphic Arts. He served the department for 38 years. And we also had a homicide that occurred on 2025, that was backed out due to being deemed a homicide. And that is all for the chief's report. Are there any questions?
Any questions? There being no questions,
I do have a question. Obviously with what is in the news relative to these cases around women experiencing violence, there's been conversations around the department's 48-hour policy, when they are missing persons and when that's activated. And I just wanted to give the department an opportunity to express why that exists or if there's any potential for changes. And if not, what intermediary solutions might be available for families between that 48-hour period before law enforcement is included.
Through the chair, you mean as relates to missing persons? Well, when there's we have one now, it's called a serious missing. He's a 79-year-old black male that walked away from a home over in number 2. So the officers respond. They already have did a news release on him. Missing persons was notified, so there is no 48-hour delay in responding to the scene. So they are searching locations in the area. He was saw on several green light cameras. So officers made that location, they checked. His daughter has been notified. She knows that her father is missing. The senior citizen home contacted her. So my understanding, there is no delay in getting to the scene to start the investigation.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you for raising that. And it's been atrocious in terms of what we've been seeing, what been happening to women in this community. And it's asked everyone to, stay vigilant and stay focused on each other. So thank you for raising that, Commissioner Presser.
Yeah, and then, again, through the chair, to that point, that there's some communication because that's becoming the talking line in the community around this 48-hour period before law enforcement is activated. And so if there's some level of communication that we can provide to the community to correct their understanding around what police action is being taken when they're sharing that their relatives is missing would be helpful.
Through the chair, I will ensure, having a conversation with the chief tomorrow to make sure that it goes out on our Facebook page, the protocol for reporting missings and what we do in order to assist in locating that missing person.
Thank you.
Yep. And as well, we did receive a communication dealing with property prioritized over human life and policy from some community members. We want to share this with you, with the department, and we asking for the department to give us a response on this expeditiously as well, and in terms of give us your feedback on what was presented by the community members. And we also going to direct our attorney and OCI to take a look at what was presented to us so that you can give us some direction on this as well. Okay?
Mr. Chair, your
Yes.
microphone is going in and out, at least.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you. All right. Yes.
I'd just like to remark for the community, and I think you probably covered it, but it's so important that this week, the week of January 2nd, 2025 through January 8th, 2025, there have been no critically injured department members. And that's a great thing, particularly because, as we both know, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, first week of January can sometimes be very, very difficult. So I'm very happy about that. No members of the department have been injured this week. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. Let's go to the presentations as relates to, was that in there? Yeah, it should come right after that. Yeah. Let's get the precinct report. Absolutely. I don't see it. It's not on here. Oh, okay. I see it. And 12 precinct. All right.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
As you know, I'm Commander McCord, Commander Donna McCord, Commanding Officer of the 12th Precinct. Can you hear me okay?
There you go. That's good.
Okay. Here with me today, I have my partner, Captain Philip Rodriguez, and our neighborhood police officers. The 12th Precinct is honored to open up the 2025 year here at the Northwest Activity Center presenting our stats from 2024. We'd like to thank Ms. Teresa Blossom for allowing us to use this facility today. Keeps going in and out, I'm sorry. Ms. Blossom for allowing us to use the Northwest activity today to hold our meeting. The 12th precinct yielded some impressive results in 2024 in comparison to 2023. As you know, in 2023, the city of Detroit showed historical lows from 1960. And we continue in that trend. For homicides in the 12th precinct from 2024, we had 17. That is a 10.5% decrease from 2023. For non-fatal shootings, we had 53, which is a 10.2% decrease from 2023. For sexual assaults, we had 55, and that was a 3.5 decrease from 2023. Robberies were 18.8% reduction, and carjacking showed a 100% reduction, which I will get to after this. Aggravated assaults were down 11.5%, motor vehicle thefts were down 7.6%, and burglaries were down 15.3%. Larcenies also showed an increase of 3%. For carjackings, the 100% increase occurred in October, November, where we saw an uptick in carjackings. Identifying this trend that we had going, commercial auto theft was able to conduct an operation in the 12th precinct and successfully arrest 5 individuals that were perpetrating these crimes on our citizens. They presented a warrant to Wayne County's prosecutor's office. They did obtain charges, and we have had 0 carjacking since that arrest. For larcenies, because we want to make sure that we're able to keep businesses in our community without being victim of larcenies, what we did was create a card that is specifically directed patrols to our businesses. What they do is go around and ensure that these people who are committing these crimes don't have an opportunity to, because they're actively patrolling. Since we created this card in November, we've seen a 28% decrease in larcenies in our businesses, in our precinct. For violent crime, of course, we're dedicated to making our community safe, working with our community partners, and also always policing constitutionally, but also enforcing the law. Last year, our precinct confiscated 360 guns. We did target enforcement and address violent crime by having restore order operations, which is our special operations unit, our traffic enforcement unit, and also our organized crime. And what they do is they focus on felonies, people who have felony warrants. We focus on getting the illegal guns off the street, like the ones that you see that have the switches that are perpetrating crimes in our neighborhoods, and also traffic enforcement. And it really hit home the other day when we had a situation with traffic enforcement. And what we gotta understand, and what I explained to our officers, is that if we enforce traffic, people don't feel comfortable running lights in our city. And because someone felt comfortable running a light in our city, we lost one of our members this year. So it's serious to us. We want to make sure we reduce fatal crashes and fatal accidents. Our partners in reducing violent crime is Michigan Department of Corrections. We do home checks with them, making locations where we have people who are on parole or probation, ensuring that they're in compliance. We also use our internal resources of homicide, gang intel, major violators, and vice. Vice enforcement does a great job in our community. Recently, we had a complaint of a business that had illegal operations selling cigarettes and marijuana to children, to people underage. So those type of operations are critical for us to enforce. We work with our local partners, ATF, FBI, and our suburban partners as well. We understand that we can't work in silos. So our community group, as I'm standing here and I see Mr. Don Johnson, who is one of the people that I meet with frequently, and he knows that I'm always at their community meetings because we understand we can't work in a silo. The police department cannot do this alone. And the 12th precinct has a large base of community groups that are work with us together so that we can reduce crime in the 12th precinct. Our neighborhood police officers do a phenomenal job with our youth explorers. They also mentor our brotherhood and sisterhood programs. Last year, they gave out gun locks distribution so that we don't have those children who get a hold of guns and have useless, just senseless deaths because people fail to secure their guns. So last year, they gave out quite a few of those. And they're always meeting with our community groups. We do have a senior movie day coming up in March, so I want to let everybody know about that. And also, we want you to know, because our citizens here, they already know this, that we prioritize our engagement with our seniors, with our community, with all of our community groups. In-house, we have a social worker who assists our victims of domestic violence, who are victims of sexual assault, in ensuring that they have the resources and they know about the resources that are available to them to help them either get emergency relocation or PPOs against people who have perpetrated crimes against them. DC spoke about the 358 mental health calls that we've had this year, and today is only January the 9th. That's how important that it is that we have the CIT program. In the 12th precinct, we have multiple members who are trained in CIT, who we can call for a mental health card to our precinct to help address those calls so that we can have a peaceful resolution to those calls while our officers are going out and answering police runs. Our shot spotter. So last year, in February of 2023, we received shot spotter assistance. This year, we're going to focus heavily on our shot spotter locations, heavily on them. What we want to do is utilize that technology to apprehend suspects who are plaguing our community with illegal gunfire by confiscating those illegal weapons and making our community safe. We're dedicated to our citizens, we're dedicated to our local business partners and working with them so we can have a safe 12th precinct and a safe Detroit. With that being said, I'll take any questions and thank you for your attention.
Commissioner Banks?
Through the chair, is it commander or captain?
It's Commander now.
Okay, commander, wonderful. Commander, when would, the senior movie day, where is that going to be held? I know it's going to be held in March, but is that going to be held at the 12th precinct?
So what happens is we have a community van and we actually pick them up. We'll have them meet us at the precinct. We'll take them out for a community movie day. And what we do, it'll be on our Facebook page, all the information and details of what time that they need to be there and where we'll be going.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yes, Commissioner Moore.
Commander, I just want to say thank you for your efforts and your neighborhood police officers for the potential human trafficking investigation that you, Assistant Chief Fitzgerald, and Captain Stacy Greer-Travis were a part of. So I just want to say, even though I'm in District 7, folks call me about stuff, and you were hands on deck, so thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Yes. Commissioner Bernard?
Okay, just quickly, the gas station that we closed down on 6 Mile and James Cousin, have you noticed that they've got their lights back up advertising their gas prices? We had told them that night they could not be open, have any signage, et cetera, but I passed there yesterday, and the lights were on, so you might want, I don't know if anybody's coming in and out or anything like that, but I know that there is a court order in place saying that they can't be open, so I don't know why they're saying gas, premium, super, et cetera. I just thought I'd call it to your attention.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll look into that now.
Okay. You're
I'll
welcome.
respond to you via email.
Yes. I think that has been lifted. You could take a look at it. I'm almost certain it has. Yes.
I'm not sure if BC was able, if they were able to
Yeah,
get their
they had a
license back.
hearing.
in
They had one hearing, and then I think they just had another hearing the other day, so, and I think that issue was resolved or whatever, so, follow up on it. Commissioner?
Yes, through the chair, Commander. The program that you all have to assist victims of domestic violence and sexual abuse with the social worker being on site, is that specific to the 12th precinct, or is that across the department? And then also, is it just one that you have per department, and is that enough for the amount of cases that that social worker might see?
Through the chair, no, sir, that is a operation where we partner and multiple precincts have their own embedded social worker. And those resources are not only in the precincts, but also at homicide and also DV downtown.
And then the capacity, is the department, the precinct confident that there is enough for the amount of individuals they might be servicing for those cases?
I would say yes, but we'll always need more. We always need more hands on deck to ensure that people get the resources that they need.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you through the chair. I just wanted to thank you personally for your previous role for missing persons and homicide, for all the countless hours that you put into the Naziah Harris case. I've been attending as well as watching this case, and just to know all of the evidence and findings that the department came up with to bring justice for her, because she deserves it. And I just want to personally thank you.
Through the chair, thank you. Thank you, through the chair. That case, as you know, is very near and dear to our hearts during my time at homicide and missing persons. We were happy to bring charges and be able to be in the process and stages that we are now and hopefully obtain a conviction. So this can't happen to anybody else.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very kindly. Oh, that ain't a hand up right back down there, is it, Commissioner? And that you didn't have your finger up, did you? Okay. All right. Thank you very kindly, Captain. Great job. And Commander. Yeah. Thank you. You got something else to say?
Through the chair, yes, sir. We would also like to let everyone know that we do have refreshments here. The 12th precinct welcomes you to partake, if you please.
Thank you very kindly. All right. Great job. Always answering the phone. That's all I got to say. I want to acknowledge our county clerk, Kathy Garrett, is here. Let's give her a hand. And very, very, very honorable person doing tremendous work throughout this county and this nation. So we just really deeply respect her and regard her. And she got her second half back there too. He's all right. The chairman back there, my good friend Keith Williams. Come on, let's give him a hand with the Black Caucus. Yep. And so let's do the presentation as it relates to the resolution. If you can do that resolution for us, the first one for us, Commissioner Presley.
Yes, through the chair. A resolution honoring a police officer, Cameron Deshaun Richardson, posthumously. Whereas Cameron Richardson was appointed to the Detroit Police Department on January 6, 2024. Upon graduating from the Metropolitan Police Academy, Officer Richardson began his career at the 9th Precinct. And whereas Officer Richardson dutifully served the 9th Precinct, displaying tremendous knowledge and leadership skills, on Sunday, January 5th, 2025, Police Officer Cameron Richardson, badge 0754, died in the line of duty. And whereas before joining the Detroit Police Department, Cameron Richardson enlisted in the U.S. Army. He served 10 distinguished years with an honorable discharge as the Staff Sergeant EO6. He was the recipient of the following awards: Army Commendation Medal, Army Achievement Medal, Army Good Conduct Medal, National Defense Service Medal, Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medal, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, and Non-Commissioned Officer Professional Development Ribbon, as well as numerous letters of commendation from his superiors. And whereas Interim Police Chief Todd Bettison described Officer Richardson as a fine officer and a family man with 2 daughters, we lost one of Detroit's finest. He was a humble servant and wanted to be a Detroit police officer. For the public, his parents provided a poignant glimpse of the magnitude of the family's loss and grief. He was an amazing dad and a great son. While the board and Detroit community will long remember and honor Officer Richardson for his service and ultimate sacrifice, We continue to lift the Richardson family in our thoughts and prayers for an unimaginable and enduring personal loss. Now therefore be it resolved that the Detroit Board of Police Commissioners, speaking for the citizens of Detroit and the Detroit Police Department, award this resolution posthumously in recognition of Police Officer Cameron Richardson for his dedicated and diligent public service. His professionalism, integrity, and standard of commitment to the city of Detroit and its citizens merit our highest regard. We salute you, Police Officer Cameron Deshaun Richardson, for a job well done.
What is the pleasure of the
Second.
board? Motion made by Commissioner Bernard, supported by Commissioner Moore. Any discussion? I would like to say that, that we deeply praying for this family and for the 9th precinct. We know that they had a loss before then, and we certainly, our hearts and prayers goes out to this beloved family. I had a chance to meet mom and dad and his sister, and it just was a gut-wrenching situation. And we are very, very appreciative of the Detroit Police Department in bringing someone in custody regarding this matter. Having said that, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion is carried. As relates to, if you can just read the first preamble of the, you know, with this guy is here, you know, you know, this 30, I think he was 38-year-old guy, but, you know, he's 38 years old. Go
All
ahead.
right, and you said just read the preamble.
You can give it to him. He can get it.
Okay.
Get it.
Resolution honoring Master Sergeant Alan J. Quinn. That's where we are, right?
Yes.
Okay. Whereas Alan Quinn was appointed to the Detroit Police Department on April 13th, 1987, upon graduating from the Detroit Metropolitan Police Academy. Officer Quinn began his career at the Housing Support Division. And whereas Officer Quinn's other assignments included the 11th Precinct Housing Support Division and Mounted, and whereas Officer Quinn displayed tremendous knowledge and leadership skills, and he was promoted to sergeant on October 27, 2000. Sergeant Quinn assignments included the 7th Precinct Training Center Academy, Northwestern District Public Information Office. On June 28, 2013, Sergeant Quinn was assigned to the Central Photo. On December 7, 2020, he earned the title of Master Sergeant at Central Photo, where he served until his retirement on January 9, 2025. Whereas Master Sergeant Quinn was the deserving recipient of the following awards: Chief Citation and Medal, both Consent Judgment Awards, the Ford Fireworks Awards, the Major League Baseball All-Star Recognition Award, the Rosa Parks Funeral Recognition Award, the Super Bowl 40 Recognition Award. He also received numerous letters of commendation from citizens and superiors. And whereas Master Sergeant Quinn played a pivotal role in strengthening the bridge between police, residents, and stakeholders as he tirelessly served the Detroit Police Department and the residents, visitors, and stakeholders of Detroit for more than 37 years. He has served the Detroit Police Department and the Detroit community with loyalty, professionalism, integrity, and dedication, and is widely respected throughout the law enforcement community as the consummate professional. Now therefore be resolved that the Detroit Board of Police Commissioners, speaking on behalf of the residents of the great city of Detroit, recognizes and honors the lifelong contributions and commitment to excellence in public service of Master Sergeant Alan J. Quinn. His display of courage and unwavering community spirit has improved the quality of life of our city, and he is deserving of our best wishes in all his future endeavors. We thank and congratulate you, Master Sergeant Alan J. Quinn.
There you go, right there.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Morris, second by Commissioner Bernard. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion is carried. Thank you, Sergeant, for everything, and thank you for all of the dedication you have given the city of Detroit, and God bless you.
Right.
Preamble.
Through the chair.
Yeah, that's the.
Is Raymond or Ramon? All right, so resolution honoring Sergeant Ramon Childs, Whereas Ramon Childs was appointed to the Detroit Police Department on August 14, 1989. Upon graduating from Detroit Metropolitan Police Academy, Officer Childs began his career at the 8th Precinct. And whereas the city of Detroit underwent the financial crises that resulted in the layoffs of more than 300 police officers in 1991, which interrupted Officer Childs' public service to Detroit, but never changed his steadfast commitment to protect and to serve the community. Upon his return in 1993, Officer Childs' assignments included the 8th Precinct, and whereas Officer Childs displayed tremendous knowledge and leadership skills, and he was promoted to the investigator on February 6, 1999. Investigator Childs was assigned to the 11th Precinct Major Crimes Division and 9th Precinct Detective Unit. On November the 4th, 2002, he earned promotion to the rank of sergeant and was reassigned to the 9th Precinct Detective Unit. His other assignments were the Eastern District Detective Unit, Data Quality Control, and Crime Data Analytics, where he served until his retirement on January 8, 2025. And whereas Sergeant Childs was the deserving recipient of the following awards: Chief Citation and Medal, both Consent Judgment Awards, the Ford Fireworks Awards, the Major League Baseball All-Star Recognition Awards, the Rosa Parks Funeral Recognition Award, and the Super Bowl 40 Recognition Award. He also received numerous letters of commendation from citizens and superiors. And whereas Sergeant Childs played a pivotal role in strengthening the bridge between police, residents, and stakeholders as he tirelessly served the Detroit Police Department and the residents, visitors, and stakeholders of Detroit for more than 35 years. He has served the Detroit Police Department and the Detroit community with loyalty, professionalism, integrity, and dedication, and is widely respected throughout the law enforcement community as a consummate professional. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Detroit Board of Police Commissioners, speaking on behalf of the residents of the great city of Detroit, recognizes and honors the lifelong contribution and commitment to excellence in public service of Sergeant Ramon Childs. His display of courage and unwavering community spirit has improved the quality of life in our city, and he is deserving of our best wishes in all his future endeavors. We thank and congratulate you, Sergeant Ramon Childs.
What is the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Bernard, supported by Commissioner Moore. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? The motion is carried.
Through the chair.
Yes.
I noticed that Sergeant Quinn was a master sergeant. What is a master sergeant? I never heard of that before. Can you explain that to me through the chair?
Chief, Deputy Chief Pritchett.
Through the chair, a master sergeant is someone that the lieutenant or the officer in charge of that case deems to be responsible enough to take the place of a lieutenant in the lieutenant's absence. So since Sergeant Quinn is very resilient and know what he's doing and is engaged and he is a mentor, the officer in charge of graphic arts deemed him to be capable to stand in as a role of a lieutenant in that lieutenant's absence.
Yep. Thank you very
Okay.
kindly. That's it?
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
all set. Thank you.
All right, and I would like to
Great.
apologize.
Great.
That I'm going to have to exit. The vice chair would take over, try to stay as long as I could. Unfortunately, my vehicle was towed today. And it was gone just for a brief moment, and I had to pay $825 to Gotch and Sons. You know,
Worst sometimes.
they ain't Detroit tours, you know, Detroit authorized tours, but. And I didn't want the hookup. I ain't try to flex nothing. I just want to see how the citizens get treated. And I seen firsthand how the citizens of the city of Detroit are being abused with a $825 tow. And I absolutely detest it. You know, the fact of the matter is that citizens who are struggling in this city do not deserve that type of treatment in no shape, form, or fashion. And in fact, I paid $840 because they didn't have change for a 20, you know, and that's what they told me. I got them all on video too. I got them on audio too. I did the Tyro, and I recorded it very, very well, and it is despicable that you would do a citizen like that in the city of Detroit, not to test it to the umpteenth power, and you will hear more in the near future. And young people, God bless you. And I'm gonna applaud you guys again for your good speeches. And I'm gonna listen to the video and see what's going on. And y'all have my number back there. Anything I could do to help you guys, I got y'all back. And I'll be listening to the public comment on the video as well. So good, bad, or indifferent. God bless you all.
Go catch that bus.
I gotta catch the
Better go
bus.
catch the bus. Better go catch the bus.
No, she has it.
Oh, Ms. Lawson.
Got public comment, that's all that's left.
No, the certificates first for the children.
Okay, so now we'll move forward to the certificates of appreciation for the Youth Advisory Panel, YAP. Is Jaden Allen present? Oh, okay, you're gonna do it.
Madam Vice Chair, there are 3 2024 cohort members present. If you could read all the names of the 2024 group and have the ones who are here come and stand. They have their certificates. They're going to pose for a picture.
Okay,
Thank you,
so
Vice
much.
Chair.
So the ones that will be receiving certificates today will be Jaden Allen, and that will be Britton Benjamin Kelly, Alexis Escato, Jeremiah Gill, Jabari Jefferson, Kiara Johnson, Periel Pace, William Perkins, Ivani Phillips, Amulin Rasmus, sorry if I butchered your name, Alana Spencer, and Angelica Williams. Those that are present, could you please come stand? Thank you so much for your service and your dedication, and congratulations on your certificates.
Excellent.
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good evening. Thank you, Vice Chair Smith. Thank you for those awards. I want to give some brief remarks on behalf of the panel. But first of all, good evening to everybody here. Good evening, commissioners, our noble officials are here with us, and community members. My name is Amulin Rasmus. I'm a business student at Wayne State University, and I've had the privilege of serving as the co-lead for the Youth Advisory Panel for the 2023 and 2024 term. It's an immense privilege to join you again. The last time I was here, I addressed the board and joined in celebration for the Board of Police Commissioners' 50th anniversary, a historic milestone. 50 years after its creation, YAP is an innovative example of how the board is adapting to meet its mandate and advance both public safety and civilian oversight right here in the city. This past term, YAP has continued to support the board in meeting its mandate through monthly meetings and various community activities and engagements. Last June, YAP hosted a forum on youth safety to usher in a safe summer for all young people in Detroit and to foster dialogue on critical issues. The forum received overwhelmingly positive support, and we plan to do it again this summer. Moreover, YAP furthered its reach by presenting at a community meeting held by Council President Pro Temp James Tate. Commissioner Carter, Angelica Williams, and myself answered and received questions from members of the community in District 1 regarding public safety and the role of youth in advancing it. YAP also participated in a town hall in partnership with Bridge Detroit, held at the Detroit Public Library main branch earlier in the fall. Looking ahead to 2025, YAP will welcome new members who the board recognized earlier and will also begin a new term. I'm also excited to share that on March 15th, YAP, in partnership with Wayne State University's Law School, will be hosting a first-of-its-kind public safety symposium. Held at Wayne Law, the symposium will convene police chiefs from surrounding areas, including Interim Chief Todd Bettison, to discuss both public safety and strengthen the ties between youth and public safety leaders. We welcome all members of the board and the community to join us on March 15th and to stay tuned with further updates regarding the symposium. As we begin our third term, the Youth Advisory Panel continues to support the board in advancing its mandate and bridging the gap to create more effective public policy safeties. To those aged 15 through 24, I encourage you to apply each September to join YAP and to make a meaningful difference in your community and your city. On behalf of the Youth Advisory Panel, I thank the board for its unwavering commitment and support to youth engagement and to the panel. I'm also grateful to Ms. Teresa Blossom, who is in the back there. Her work makes our jobs possible. I'm very grateful to her. Through continued collaboration, I am convinced, and I know we can and will advance both safety and prosperity in the city that we call home. And I thank you all for your role in making that possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And once again, the board appreciates your commitment, your dedication, and we're looking, as we told you before, to be a future board member. I can see you here. Thank you so much. Okay, we'll now move forward to oral communication. Ms. Jonya, who do we have present, please?
Madam Chair, we have 11 speakers. Our first speaker will be Ms. Bernice Smith. After Ms.
Okay.
Our first speaker is Ms. Bernice Smith. Our next speaker will be Ms. Williams, and after Ms. Williams, it'll be Ms. Fredia Butler.
Good evening to everyone. Good evening. And a
Good evening.
happy and blessed new year to everyone. And I hope you'll be safe.
Speak in the mic, please. Speak in the mic.
I'm going to get to the mic. I had to see my boss back there, my former boss. I can't believe that she's here. Bless your heart. Good to see you, Kathy. Anyway, I used to be an election supervisor. You know what? We should all be glad to see another year. I know I am. Being 92, God has been good to me. So I will be campaigning for the mayoral election. The two candidates came to me and asked me to help them, so I haven't decided yet. But anyway, I'm not going to tell you who it is. It's going to be a surprise. We have been through this week so much crime. I can't understand why. What is wrong? This is a good city. We have the sports that's really putting us on the public, and they're doing good. And then we have the crime that's coming along behind it. And that's so disgusting. I get tired of looking at it every morning at 11 o'clock, the news telling us about somebody that robbed someone or they're shooting someone. Can't we just behave and put the guns away? That's all I ask. And I pray each day that we will understand that God is watching us, whether we know it or not. He is watching us. And he's going to put a stop to it eventually. I don't know when. I may not be here, but it's going to stop eventually because we can't continue to go along having good on this side and then the evil is overbearing to us. We must talk to our children and let them know and check on them and find out what they're doing. I wrote something here a little bit, and I'm going to be through.
Next time, Ms. Smith, that's your time.
It is?
It is. I'm sorry.
Well,
But I look forward to you next week to hear it.
every time a fool speaks, advertise, he's showing his ignorance, so I'm going to get off. Thanks so much for everything that you do for me.
Thank you, ma'am.
God
Happy
bless
New
you.
Year.
Fine, baby doll. Thank you.
You're more than welcome, Mother. Hi, everyone, through the chair. He's not here, Vice Chair.
Thank you, ma'am. Happy New Year.
You as well. The 12th precinct is hosting this, and I've been going through a whole lot the last 4 years, but I'm going back to 2 years. Detective Douglas at the 12th precinct falsified reports. Her boss signed off on it. They went to 36th District Court. Diaz, the prosecutor, went to a judge. He was elected, Adam Sabri, in November. He wasn't even working for 36th District Court yet. But the moral of the story is, if the person would have did their job correctly, I wouldn't have never been in that situation. And when you have this type of authority and you know your position and you do your job correctly, it shouldn't have never been an issue. Abuse of authority, that's what I call it. And when she wrote up the report stated that my 9mm was in this report. My 9mm is at the 12th precinct. So Chief Warfield knows clearly what I'm speaking about concerning that. And Linda Bernard, we had a sit-down conversation, closed doors, concerning this issue. The bottom line is, there's a whole lot of good Detroit police officers, and then some who do not respect their oath or their job. And they take advantage of the position they have and the power, and that's just not acceptable when you're playing with somebody's livelihood. There's nothing else to be said. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you. All is well. Have a great day, ma'am. Next speaker, please.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Commissioners, this is the beginning of a new year and a new administration in Washington, D.C. So we need to be
Can you speak in the mic, please? Thank you.
So we need to be prepared to anticipate and litigate more issues. I have stated before that our communities need more neighborhood police officers and city inspectors. We have been neglected too long, and our NPOs in the 2nd Precinct are stretched too thin to respond to the needs of over 54,000 citizens. With all of the abatements given to millionaires and billionaires, the burden is on us to support their businesses while we receive fewer benefits from our tax dollars. They won't have to pay their full taxes in 20 years or more. Our tax dollars are supposed to provide services for our communities. The citizens are being told abatements create jobs. Wake up, Giants, and think. A study was made that we have overpaid $600 million in taxes, and as of today, no one is addressing this issue. We are supposed to forget, are we supposed to forget and be satisfied with crumbs? We want beautiful, clean, and safe neighborhoods. I have made 2 suggestions that could help. One was denied, and yet I see my ideas being in other areas.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. That is your time.
Well, you have
Our next
copies
three-
of it.
Our next 3 speakers will be Ms. Victoria Camille, Ms. Tara Brown, Ms. Yvonne Jones.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
Earlier, the chair mentioned a document that you have in front of you, Property Prioritized Over Human Life and Policy. There are also copies here in the room for the public. I'll just highlight a few points for the sake of those who are online. DPD finally released footage of Sherman Lee Butler's murder at the hands of the Wayne County Police bailiff. The bailiff exceeded his functions, and DPD's officers disregarded their own policies. This put everyone in danger and resulted in Sherman's murder. DPD should have sent the bailiff into the other room, secured the scene, and monitored Sherman until the mental health co-response team arrived. DPD Special Order 22-28, responding to mental health crisis, says that in many cases, gaining the trust of an individual suffering from mental illness or crisis takes time and includes disengagement, area containment and/or surveillance, waiting out a subject, calling in specialized commands. DPD's, DPD's mental health co-response team includes critical incident trained members, behavioral health specialists, and homelessness advocates, resources and services, all of which would have been helpful if the bailiff and DPD officers had just waited for them to arrive. Instead, DPD allowed the bailiff to rush them into using the tasers while Sherman laid in his bed and had already allowed them to start collecting his belongings. And the bailiff positioned himself in the back of the room where he was cornered, where the only place that Sherman could run to, running away from the tasers, was toward the bailiff. The bailiff should not have been in the room at all, and DPD officers allowed him to be there. How will you hold the officers accountable for not following the policies which resulted in Sherman's death?
Thank you.
Madam Chair, if I may?
Yeah, excuse me.
Ms. Shaw, excuse me. I just want to indicate, I'm sure you were here when the chair said that your memo, and I read it, and I'm very concerned, has been referred to the chief of police for a response. It has been referred to the law department for a response and to OCI. And we will get all of those documents prior to addressing your specific concerns. And thank you for raising them.
Thank you. Through the chair, I hope that the board will independently look at it as well and not depend on DPD's analysis. All of you, as well as all of the public, can see and can read, and you have copies of the policies in front of you.
Thank you. Yes.
Through the chair, I want to let you know, Vicki, you did a wonderful job explaining that. Good job. That was solid. That was solid.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. I want to echo exactly what Victoria just brought up. I'm looking, and at the document you all gave us, it says, the Board of Police Commissioners has supervisory control and oversight of the police department as set forth in this chapter. Keep that in mind as you all allow the police to come in here and give you information. I don't want to blame Chief Beddison because he wasn't in charge, but I fully blame Chief White. On August 19th, he sent out, or the City of Detroit Police Department sent out a press release that said Detroit police officers were not responding to help with an eviction. Instead, the officers were there in response to the bailiff's safety concerns. That's a lie. The video that we saw on TV was chopped and cut and screwed and put back together. The police were already there before that 10:53 a.m. call was made. They're standing at the door with the bailiff asking, what weapon do you have? When he called dispatch, he said it was a spike, I believe he said it was. If you know he has a spike, why are you at the door asking what weapon do you have? When we see the video start, that was the first encounter that they made with them when the Detroit Police Department should not have been there. They accompanied that bailiff, as they had been doing previously, to assist him with an eviction. If you read the paperwork that was issued by Victoria Camille, you'll see that they are reading the eviction to him. They are there to assist with the eviction. Also, Chief White came to us repeatedly saying that this was not an officer-involved shooting. I FOIA'd the PPO Farrell's daily report. Someone put a note in there from the police department that said, the shooting will be handled like a, quote, officer-involved shooting. One of the officers, one of the 4 officers that were there was a corporal. They were trained. They didn't secure the scene. According to Kim Worthy's press release, the bailiff and an officer decided to tase Sherman Butler. The bailiff's job is to move furniture. Sherman Butler said, and I quote, put my shit in a bag and get out of here. That is exactly what he should have been doing.
Thank you.
Sherman Butler was cooperating with his eviction when he was murdered. You all need to look into this, and those officers need to be suspended.
That is your time.
Thank you.
Yvonne Jones, and I'm a member of the Coalition for Police Transparency and Accountability, and I'm also here to support the further investigation of the murder of Sherman Lee Brown. It says, the disregard of DPD says, I just want to read this. Sherman shouted, "You already been paid already to kill me, so use it already." This is how it's going to end right here, to which DPD officer inappropriately replied, "This is how we're going to end it. All right, let's do it then." I want to go to the agenda, the second page, when we talk about the duties of the Board of Police Commissioners. Number 3, receive and resolve as provided in this charter any complaints concerning the operation of the police department. We spend the majority of these meetings talking about giving high fives to the police department, and that's okay. We can do that, but I think for this body, we need to be concerned with what's happening to the citizens. We need to make sure that our police department is functioning in the way that it is structured to function and finding ways to make it better. Detroit spent over 1/3 of its annual budget on policing, and we stand up here and we cry about things don't get any better. And this body is the oversight for the citizens to make sure that things get better. So I appeal to you to not only this matter, but other matters, that we take them seriously and that we work for the people of Detroit.
Thank
and
you.
I also want to bring up the
Thank you,
ordinance,
that's your time. Thank you.
the ordinance on body-worn camera for the
Thank
police
you.
department.
Mr. Johnson, Mr. Don Johnson, Mr. Scotty Bowman, and Mr. Foster, and then, Madam Chair, we'll go into Zoom.
Okay, thank you,
sorry.
Honorable Board, for this
Thank you, sir.
opportunity. I want to say that the one thing I love about the 12th precinct, which I've been president of community relations for almost 40 years.
Wow.
Because nobody wants to take the job. When we get a new commander, a new captain, MPOs, Sergeant Bledsoe, sergeant of the MPO, just retired with 46 years. And we got many great MPOs, or we got a few of them back in the back there. The good news is we work together. What we're trying to do as a community is step up our efforts to make things better. We had a program we were trying to put in place. I heard all the information about people with mental issues and what have you, and a lot of them are veterans. In the city of Dearborn, they write down all those things so that once a 911 call is made, they know that that person may have a mental issue or have a problem. We also got a program we putting in called, I call it welfare check, but it's a well-being check on our seniors, because we're finding a lot of our seniors living at home by themselves that have either passed out or they were cooking and they were burning up their house and stuff like that. So we're trying to work together on how we can corral some of this stuff. And what I've done with our community group is told them they need to step up their efforts and do what we call a welfare check, whether you know your neighbor or not. If you don't see your neighbor, go check on your neighbor, because too many seniors are dying in their home. Thank you very much, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, first of all, I just want to say this is my first time. I'm just Scotty Bowman, founder of Detroit Residents Advancing Civilian Oversight, DRACO. I'm going to say the first time I've been to a face-to-face meeting in quite a while, and I walk in, I saw 9 commissioners. That's the best attendance I've seen all year. Just wanted to say that. I'm really, tonight I would like to express my, my agreement, support, and just really echoing the words of the people from the Coalition for Police Transparency and Accountability, whether it be the issue of the tragic killing of Sherman Lee Butler, or the unfortunate lack of transparency much of the time regarding video that has been in the custody of the Detroit Police Department. That really should, at the very least, it should be immediately accessible, as physically possible procedurally, for board members to even get the video. They are the oversight. So whether or not something's under investigation or not, I mean, this is a very small group of people that can be entrusted, I hope, and you can have non-disclosure agreements or whatever. But yeah, there should also, the people at large, the public really should be able to view these recordings, after an appropriate process. And I think working toward that, and with, as a guide, the recommendations made by the coalition, I think would be a very good move forward to improve civilian oversight in the city of Detroit.
Thank you. Sherman Lee Butler shooting, and I'm very sorry for his loss. And my deepest condolences go to him and his family and all his supporters and loved ones, friends, and everyone who has been fighting and advocating for him. But his shooting was not a department-based shooting. The Detroit Police Department did not fatally injure or wound Sherman Lee Butler. And our Madam Prosecutor has made her findings in regards to the case.
Point of order.
Ma'am, I'm talking and you shouldn't be. It is not the board's findings. Madam Prosecutor has made her determination in regards to this case. So I'm asking, anything, you should take it up with that process. We don't have that power here at the board. We don't have that power. Thank you. We don't have that power, and you are out of order. Would you like to leave? I'm here. Sir, thank you, sir.
Thank you. You as well. Good evening. Just wanted to take a little time. I got my kids out there. I always speak about keeping our children first, and I like to always practice exactly what I preach. And so today I wanted to take a little time out to really just say and speak about the good work that's been going on in the 12th precinct. And particularly, they've been doing a really good job bridging gaps, responding, being visible, and more importantly, directly saving lives. And what I mean by directly saving lives, I mean by having an ear to the community, being available, being in a position where they could prevent crime and prevent things from escalating. And I think that cannot be overstated. That's what this community needs if we're going to drive crime down. You have to have senior command, you have to have all your officers, you have to have a whole precinct that's dedicated and have an open ear to the community. You cannot know what's needed in the community if you don't have the means available to listen to the community. And with that being said, I personally have spoken and have access and can attest to directly to saving lives, to de-escalating, to how we can manage mental illness by simply listening and acting on what we listen to. And so we don't need all these magical pills. We don't need all these billions of dollars. We got budgets to do that. We need people to exercise in the spirit of what they are and who they are in their occupation. So I'm very, very grateful. Ceasefire has been doing a very good job always with their proactive approach to prevent crime. And then more importantly, lastly, before I get off of here, with the Officer Richardson, he was a veteran, a combat veteran, a Ranger as well. And when I look at you guys' bargaining agreement, I look at him being on a job 1 year and dying off duty, and I hear the officers talk about how they have to pay into their own retirement and Social Security. You guys have to redo this bargaining agreement. What type of Social Security do his 2 young girls have? What's available to them? and this is coming from a citizen, a community that have nothing to do with law enforcement. You all have to do right by your people at all times, redo that bargaining agreement, make it equitable for them, and anybody that live a high-risk life or work a high-risk life,
Thank
and
you,
their
sir.
job
That is your
should
time.
reflect it. Thank you.
Former Commissioner William Davis. After former Commissioner William Davis, it will be Joyce Jennings, and then we'll go into Zoom.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
You know, I came because I wanted to say something about the fact that we have too many hit and runs in this city. We have too many people running red lights.
Microphone.
We have too many hit and runs in this city. We have too many people running red lights. I think that this board should be advocating with the city council for help to make sure that state law is changed so it's more enforcement. We should not have to see an officer killed or anyone killed because somebody is hit and run and they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing. Also, during the time that I was on the board, there was a certain commissioner that had a one-person towing committee. There was also the chair at that time, and I brought to his attention the fact that if he didn't change that, I was going to make sure the whole country knew. And I helped make sure a lot of people didn't know. But, you know, we need to make sure we more aggressively look at what's going on with towing in this city, you know, because people are being robbed. People are being robbed, and y'all need to be saying something about that. Because, you know, it's horrible that somebody could pay $800 and the car just got towed within the last day or two. That's crazy. You know, so I think this board, for this upcoming year, should be a little bit more aggressive and should be asking for more from itself and from city council and my state representatives. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, honorable body, and to all the citizens that are gathered here today. Happy New Year to you all. I just want to thank you for the work that you do. I also want to thank you for the opportunity to have my youngest daughter inducted to the Youth Advisory Council for this year. There are many concerns that have been shared today in public comment, and more will come via Zoom. And I pray daily that the city of Detroit would become the healing and wellness capital of the world. For far too long, the city of Detroit has had many issues that oftentimes become national news. I'm very happy to hear about the decline in many areas in which we are plagued by issues that have to be reported to police. Personally, I have been impacted by sexual assault that still has not been investigated by the Detroit Police Department. It resulted in my family being relocated from our home because we were told that my home was the scene of a crime. This is actually the area where we had relocated to, 48235. My daughter loves this area, but on last year, we returned back to our home located on the east side of Detroit in District 3, City Council District 3. And my daughter has stated that being back in our home, it's passioned her to want to get involved, to address issues that are oftentimes overlooked. In this zip code area, the police do a phenomenal job. City services are excellent in this area, but we have seen the disparities between how different zip codes throughout the city of Detroit are responded to. And it's my
Thank
prayer.
you. That's your time. And once
Thank you
again,
so much.
congratulations to your daughter.
We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker will be Mr. Smith, and after Mr. Smith, Mr. Crowley.
Good afternoon and Happy New Year. I just want to start off by saying the 12th precinct is probably the most political precinct we have in the city of Detroit because of this close residence to the Palmer Woods neighborhood. I also want to say this board is super political with the appointees being chair and vice chair. Very disappointing to hear the comments about Sherman Lee Butler and his murder at the hands of a scene where Detroit Police Department were present, witnessed a murder. I don't care what the prosecutor said. Prosecutors can be wrong. Those are just opinions. The prosecutor that is now, the former prosecutor is now mayor, tried to cover up the Malice Green murder. So are we going to call that correct? No. So also want to say, to attack citizens because of their advocacy for a person who was murdered in cold blood from officers who did not follow their oath, who did not take control of a scene. There's no way a bailiff will be able to protect 4 armed officers. That makes no sense. Officers they were top priority over the bailiff. They had to secure the scene. It was their responsibility. They were not to assist with that eviction, which is what they did. And just to see that defended from a board member is kind of ridiculous. It's really, really sad and disheartening to see that type of behavior covered up. And that's why we have to advocate. That's why we have to be very strong and steadfast against some of these officers and their behaviors. Every officer who does not respect the role, who does not do good by their badge, is a disgrace to all those officers who do well by their badge and who do respect their oath. And this is what we're here to talk about. So if you don't want to hear things like that about officers and their mishaps and what they're doing correctly, you shouldn't be on this board, whether you chair, vice chair, whatever. And I also want to say, God don't like ugly. It's kind of funny to see the chair get his car towed, and people have been preaching about this, specifically myself, and all of their malfeasance with towing.
Mr. Crowley?
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can hear you. Go right ahead.
Charmaine McLeod did it. Charmaine McLeod. Now, I've been for a couple weeks trying to get this information to the homicide unit for the Detroit Police Department and explain to them how it was I was able to ascertain that.
That is your last speaker.
I want to speak to another issue. And the next issue I want to speak to is absentee ballot fraud, election fraud, voter fraud. It's been happening and occurring in Detroit elections since 2020 that I can prove and demonstrate. It seems that the Detroit Department of Election is putting in fraudulent absentee ballots for former Detroit citizens as well as current Detroit citizens. Now, Detroit City Clerk Janice Winfrey is bold. Detroit Department of Elections Director Gina Avery Walker is bold. There are numerous Detroit Police Commissioners who have fraudulent absentee ballots cast and votes cast. Detroit City Council, fraudulent absentee ballots and votes cast. School Board, Detroit School Board, fraudulent absentee ballots cast, and some judges here in the city of Detroit, fraudulent absentee ballots cast in their favor, as well as the mayor. Fraudulent absentee ballots cast in the 2021 Detroit election that can be proven and demonstrated beyond any shadow of any doubt.
Thank you. Next, we have our report from our Madam Secretary. You have your report ready?
Excuse me. The report from the Board Secretary this week, the incoming communications that are listed, special note regarding policies that are posted. Currently, the Board of Police Commissioners Policy Committee is reviewing over a dozen policies within the next 30 days. The board is welcoming feedback on these, and the policies that are under review for the next 30 days are posted on our website. Please share your comments or suggestions in person at board and committee meetings or by email that is listed on the website or on the handout that is at the reception table tonight. The announcements of upcoming meetings are as follows. The Budget Committee will be meeting on Tuesday, January 14th at 4:30 p.m. at DPS headquarters. Also, the next board meeting is scheduled for Thursday, January 16th next week at Public Safety Headquarters, and there is a typo there. It should have been 3:00 p.m. next Thursday, January 16th. Our next community meeting will be held Thursday, February 13th. It'll be held in 11th Precinct at SAY Detroit Place Center, located at 19320 Van Dyke Avenue in Detroit. That will be the next community meeting. And those are the announcements and incoming communication, Vice Chair.
Thank you. And what is the pleasure of the board?
Madam Chair.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Whoever asked Warfield.
Chief Warfield.
Through the chair, commissioners, you have in your packet a couple of reports for me. One of the reports deal with the additional findings that our investigators have been chronicling and keeping track of. And I will go over this report in greater detail next week, so it will remain in your binder, but I want you to know this is in the report. We also shared it with Captain Carter, who is in our office, and we believe that it will serve as a great training tool for the members of the department. Again, we'll talk more about it next week. What I also wanted to apprise you of is at one of the prior meetings of the Personnel and Training Committee, we had discussed implementing an apprenticeship program for OCI senior investigators and other members of our staff who may be interested in receiving leadership training as it relates to supervising a team. So one of the things that we put together, and this is also in your binder, it is a memo that details the benefits of starting a supervising apprenticeship program. And so we want to apprise you of that effort so that you are fully aware of what our thoughts are. We are not certainly adding any staff members, and we are not adding any cost to the budget as a result of this. But those people who are interested in leadership positions, it is a great training tool so that when we have vacancies in the future, we'll be able to pull from a good pool of candidates already developed in our office.
Thank you. And what is now the pleasure of the board?
Madam Chair, I just have
You got a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Chair. With regard to the apprenticeship program, are there going to be, or is there going to be a set of criteria that will be set up, or will any investigator be able to become a part of this training program?
Through the chair and Commissioner DeWange, absolutely. Those who are wishing to be a part of this program will be able to access it, absolutely. Whether they are a senior or just a regular investigator.
Okay. Thank you.
Ma'am,
Thank you. Yeah.
if I could. So the aforementioned program is preliminary. We haven't discussed the details, nor have we approved within the Personnel and Training Committee, nor is there a launch date. So there's still some legwork that has to happen before we formally announce, adopt, implement, and so forth.
Okay.
Thank you.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
A motion was passed about 3 months ago from the board here when DPD was subpoenaed on the Kanisha Coleman case, and the chairman mentioned that he put that in your hands.
Yes.
Can I get an update on that? Can I get an update on that, please, through the chair?
Yes, sir. The update is the report was made for MSP, and we're waiting for a response.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So what is
welcome.
the pleasure of the board?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second. Meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.